to talk with Rob Ober, Fellow and Chief Architect in the Chief Strategy Office at LSI. So when you look at all of this, the way the data is moving the industry, what's going to happen to data centers?
There are actually a few trends that are already starting, and there's been a lot of talk in the last year or two about disaggregation. Personally, I prefer another term, which is pooling or actually aggregation from where I sit. If you're a server manufacturer, you think of it as disaggregation because you're ripping apart a server and putting the pieces different places. But there are reasons for doing this. So there are reasons for pooling the different resources, putting the processing elements with the processing elements, and the memory with the memory, and the storage with the storage, network with the network. And the reasons for doing this, there are two key reasons. One is simple operational aspects, right? Because processors to get the most powerful and efficient processors, you probably want to replace them about every 18 months. DRAM might last you 5 years. Flash, you might want to replace every 2 years. Networking, frankly, is probably closer to every 10 years. And power supplies, you want to keep them forever if you can. So you want to be able to replace the bits and pieces on the right cadence, right? Because ultimately what that means is you're going to, well, on one hand, it's going to be greener, right? You're going to be scrapping out less, but you're also going to be spending less and getting more capability for that money you do spend. So it's sort of a win-win-win. The other aspect is also operational, but it's more about dynamically deploying resources. So if most data centers, large data centers now have 5 or 6 different platforms. They're actually quite different physically. And the problem is they have to order these platforms in advance. If they misorder, if they make wrong assumptions about what's going to be a popular new service or what they need, they end up with a lot of infrastructure. They spend millions of dollars on something that they really can't use, and they starve some other service because it doesn't have the right platforms. If I pool resources, I can actually have the same building blocks, and depending on how I logically assemble those building blocks, I can have a server with a lot of memory or a little memory, a lot of high capacity storage or a little. I could have a lot of flash for high performance analytics or a little, and I can have a mixture of those. And frankly, I could even, not that this ever happens, if I misorder, if I get the platform mix wrong, that's okay. I just in a virtual sense rearrange those building blocks, and I can have the proper balanced systems for my needs. And I can change that over time. And if my, on a database, if my storage needs grow and I'm in Flash, instead of running into a brick wall and having to, this is a good term for you, there's no acronym. If I have to refactor my database and split it up and reallocate it across new servers, right, that's a really bad thing. That's a lot of work with very little to gain. Whereas in this new model, if my database grows, I can just simply say, okay, here's a little bit more. Boom, done, right? I don't have to do anything. So it's really transforming the large data center, and it's actually pretty exciting.